Welcome to Morning Musings. This is Tara from TSW Life Coaching. Her and I do this every 2 weeks, and we just talk and see where we usually typically have a topic. Whether we stay on it is however that comes out. We love that each and every one of you are here and following and continue to follow and listen. So as we move forward, love any ideas that you guys want us to chat about in the comments would be great. Today, we are talking about shadow work. I think that this is a space right now that is coming out for many people as they are discovering their authentic self, their own authority in where they're going in life and following their path.
There, period, done.
Done.
um, so I guess uh maybe we should define shadow work first. Um, so for me, shadow work is any part of ourselves that we have disowned mainly because we've been taught to disown it. So it's the bad side of us as we see it. And so it's different for everyone. Like an example I give is if you've been raised in a super clean house, then your shadow is messy or untidy. That's just a really basic one. But it's any part of ourselves that we haven't owned. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of shadow around anger, around being in our power, around standing in our authority. All of those have been into our shadow because our society has taught us to not be that. Like we talked about the other week about, giving up our authority because we've been taught that since day one that we always have to go to someone. And so when we start looking into our shadow, it's to bring us back to our wholeness, and it's about owning it. And well, I can go on to that later. I'll stop just doing a monologue.
It's all part of it. It's how we learn, though. How if you're uncertain of the shadow, it's what you learn from that, right? Um, there was someone posted. This is a great example. Someone posted that I know this past weekend about how when someone has done something, how we become angry about what they've done, what they've said, what they've did to us. Um, and we become angry, but what is that anger? That anger is not directed really at them. It is not about them. You can be angry, but what are you really angry at? You're angry at that you didn't stand up to them prior to them doing this, that you didn't set that boundary, that you didn't speak up, but however it shows up in your life, right? So there's an aspect here of our reaction is our shadow.
Absolutely. Um, I think a lot of times too, things like anger or jealousy are just our internal self speaking to angry, like you said, that you didn't speak up. So you haven't owned that part of yourself where you're speaking your truth. Or we get mad at someone who it's not that they have different beliefs than us, it's that they're actually vocalizing their beliefs. Or it's something that we agree with on a soul level, but yet we've been conditioned to or put that in the shadow. And so we get angry with them because we wish we would say it or we wish we would step into it. Um, or it's, like I said, a part that we haven't, the jealousy thing sticks out to me. Um, and so, like, maybe we see someone who's really confident and we're like, God, they're so full of themselves. And that's not what it's about. It's not about them at all. It's about that you are not confident in yourself. It's that's a part of yourself that you haven't owned, probably because you were taught to be quiet, don't be too loud, don't be too boisterous, don't be too much. And so the anger is coming from inside, well, always, but it's just, I guess, mirrored to you, and that's what brings it out, is that they're doing something that you're not doing within yourself, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really hard to see those aspects, the shadow aspects. And sh shadow work to me, like a lot of people feel we have to fix ourselves. Um, do we need to fix or do we need to just bring light to something and not make it a wrongness within ourself? And I think a lot of people with shadow work, it's like, oh, that's a dark side of me. I got to fix that. Um, I don't know. There's a fine line between fixing and um, being in a space where you bring light to it to see what it's teaching you and bringing out more authenticity, or, I guess that could be, you could call that fixing, but um, I feel that even in the spiritual world, we have a lot of leaders who portray that you need to fix and, you know, bringing back to the shadow work, it's bringing light to the shadow. What do we need to look at within that we are reacting, that we are feeling how we feel in whatever aspect?
I would say I'm not a DIY project. I don't need to be fixed. I don't need to be anything. And that's why I really like, well, I love that you said enlightened, um, or that you said bring light to, because that's really what enlightenment is. It's bringing light to it. And it's not, like I said, with the anger thing, it's not that you don't have that. You have it, you just haven't brought light to it, or you've been taught to suppress it. And so it's coming back to that wholeness is really what I like to think of it as. And so I guess the way I think of it, and I don't know why I think of it this way, but I think of it like a dirty, there we go. Like, and when you take all your clothes out of your closet and they're all piled up, and it's like your authenticity, your true self, your wholeness is underneath that piles of clothes. And so you have to sort that through. And it's not about fixing it. It's about uncovering who you truly are and allowing it to be that,
Yeah,
allowing you to be that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like confidence, right? Um, People can feel confident, but they don't see the bigger picture in their confidence. It's like, yeah, I'm confident, but are you confident enough to see yourself as something bigger?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's because this, like, we've been programmed to do the right thing, right? Or,
Stay small.
yeah, right?
Don't be powerful.
That's right. You can still be confident, but you're not in your true confidence. Does that make sense? And that is a space. Like, I'm finding that is a big one. Fear, anger, confidence, your value, your worth is a big space where the shadow really lies.
Mm-hmm. It does, and I think it all. There's different words that I think will hit everyone differently.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's all the same thing. It's that at our core, we feel like the wound is that we feel like we are not good enough, not worthy enough, not valuable, that we feel like we're whatever the word is for you, that's what it is. And that's why I think a lot of anger comes out too, because on a soul level, you know that you're completely worthy, that you are absolutely enough in every moment. And we've just been taught all this not enough. And I think that comes back to the authority thing again, because that's where we're starting to be taught that from like day one is like, I'm not enough, or I don't know the answers, or I don't have the answers, or I'm not smart enough to figure this out. Somebody help me. Somebody figure this out for me. Somebody. And so we turn to everybody. And then the more we go along, like we talked about the other week, we are just programmed to always look to somebody else, which makes us,
Yeah.
that just ingrains it into us that much more that we are not enough or
Yeah.
we're valuable or worthy or whatever the word is. I feel they all energetically they all hold the same space.
Yeah.
And it's definitely well that lack mindset, right?
Yeah. It's all encompassing. It truly is. And I feel that when, for instance, the anger, we'll just use that for an example, you can't have it just affect your relationship with that person if you're angry with that person for whatever reason. It affects your job, it affects your relationships as a whole. It's like, it's all of it, right? You can't have, it's like you're scared to step into the fear. Well, there's an underlying shadow in that, in stepping into your career path, for example, right? So because you're not doing that, you become frustrated and angry. So then it affects how you do your career. And then it comes into your relationship. Then it comes into, all of the things. So it's big. Shadow is really big, really big.
Well, I think too, like, I mean, the example anger that we're using, when you feel angry and it's coming from that soul level of anger of, I know I'm better than this, I know I'm not showing up fully, then you can't help but point out, well, that's where our ego comes in, can't help but point out how you're not doing that in every area. Like, because it's really just your soul calling you to step up and step into it. And I, um, I guess I just posted this yesterday, but what I'm really realizing is that there is, it's so easy to say, well, just move past the fear. But if you are not ready for it, if your soul is not ready for it, because that's like, if I go back to that clothing analogy, you can't just pull the bottom one out and go, oh, here you go. You have to unload the other layers. And so maybe the fear is tied to, um, something else, a wound or trauma or something like that. And so you have to start unpiling the way that your soul wants to. And I find that for me, anyhow, people are like, well, just swallow the fear. Okay, yeah. I know how to do that. I've done that. I've played that game. I've done the okay fear and I've welcomed it. Um, but like I said, if I'm not ready to at a soul level because I've got these other things piled on top of it, I can't just easily just go, okay, fear, because then it's either A, gonna pull the whole pile and make a bigger pile and a bigger mess and a bigger tangle, and we get further down the path than we wanted to be, or we open something that we're not ready for, which usually won't happen because the universe won't let us and our soul won't let us, or we'd go into judgment of why can't I just face this fear, which is again that shadow part too. Like, why can't I? And I know I get stuck in that. And that's really what I'm getting because it's been a bit of a tough week for me. Is I've like some grief has come up and some inner healing, inner child healing, and I know this stuff. Like I understand this stuff on a very deep level, but I haven't been able to get to that level because I wasn't ready. And so it's giving yourself that grace and letting your soul unwind how it needs to, because it's all easy to go, oh well, yeah, just let the belief go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that's a deeper aspect in itself as well, right? And it's just like, sure, you pulled out, I'm going to step into the fear. You pulled out that bottom piece of clothing, but on the sideline, someone is going to do something to put you back into that fear, say something, do something. Something is going to come back to throw another piece of laundry on that pile.
Hmm.
And I love that analogy, by the way, um, because it is like, unless you have actually looked at it, brought the light to it, and really, and even when we bring the light to it, it's still not complete in most cases. there's still aspects of it in different angles of our life that it keeps trickling back in until we go, okay, wait a minute here. Now I understand. And it's like you said, you can't get there unless you go through the layers, right? And the fear might be, oh, I got to find confidence. Oh, I got to find no judgment. Oh, I got to, like, all of the layers have to come through in order for that to really present itself for you to go, okay, now I am in this space now where I
Yeah.
can, all the laundry's clean, and then something else comes up. Because do we ever have an empty laundry basket ever?
Yeah, that's true. Um, but yeah, it is. It's the healing and and I find, and I guess, like I said, it could just be me, but I find so much when I hear people, say that, like healers or other people say, well, just, you know, trust. Okay, I know that. Thank you. But that's not it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes to be able to trust.
Yeah,
I get it on a, mental level.
yeah,
Like I get it. I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but if I have all these other things piled on top of it, I'm not going to be able to truly trust. And just by saying it, it's not going to, so it almost, which is part of the shadow too, is it puts you back into the shame. Why can't I just trust? I know this. Why can't I? And it puts us back into that shame game,
yeah.
which is
And
never good.
it's everything is always deeper. Everything is always deeper. If it's at the surface, there's something underneath that you need to look at that is deeper within. I had a group reading this weekend, and it was absolutely amazing, the things. And I've read for a lot of these people in a group before. So this one girl, without giving too much information, she has been working really a lot on herself in her state of flow, into that trust, all of the things, right? Listening to what is required of her, all of the things that come. And she said after, I can't remember how many years, 10 years, she's actually understands now what flow means. Means, going inward when you need to go inward, going outward when you need to go outward, really looking at the aspects of the shadow of all of the things, right? And I mean, even then, are we ever 100% complete? I don't feel that we are, but we are learning how to get into the shadow a lot faster to get the light that we need, right? But we also have to be there long enough to see it, right? But so it was really cool, and it was like she was actually now in a state of peace. She doesn't have everything figured out, but she now knows how to flow to get there. And I think that that is a big aspect of the shadow. Once you start digging deep into it, you start learning what you need to do for the next time and the next time, and it just becomes, doesn't become easier. It becomes easier how to get there, but once you
Mm-hmm.
get there, it's not always easy, right?
No. And the deeper the layers are too, the more intertwined they are. Like you talked about with anger and things like that. Like the way I kind of describe that is, or think of that is like a spider web. When it's the middle of the spider web, when you start pulling one of the little webs, the whole center starts moving. And so when you get deeper in your healing, um, and your growth, I'm going to say both because they work hand in hand. You really start, when you start pulling one thread, a whole shitload of other stuff, whoops, comes comes with it.
Yeah.
Um, because they're just so closely intertwined. And I mean, to me, that's just that getting closer to like the center of that pile where you can't move one of the clothes without a whole bunch of others rearranging. But on
Yeah.
the top, you can take like a whole bunch of layers off.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, I healed that. Yeah, I healed that.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you get deeper down, it's like, oh, and you open up a can of worms.
Yeah. And what comes to my mind when you say that is, okay, the anger is what's on the surface, okay? It's no different than if you aren't taking care of yourself energetically. What comes on the surface, you get dis-ease or whatever, right? That's just what's showing, right? The anger is just what's on the surface, and it
Hmm.
is the catalyst to get you to move inward. And okay, what is the anger about? And going, really, really deep. Um and it takes time. It takes like time is nothing, but it could take years to discover one aspect.
Hmm.
And that's just an aspect maybe of your confidence, say. And it's not like you all of a sudden wake up and you've done all this work and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm confident for the rest of my life. Right?
Yeah.
It's,
Well, and it's funny because I
it
mean we're
is.
just because we're talking about confidence too. That's why I say like I so love the essences. Um, because like confidence, there's like 10 or 12 flowers that show up with it. And so when you say confidence and it's like, oh, be more confident. Okay. But there's certain aspects to that. Like maybe you were told to be quiet. Maybe you were told that you're too loud. Let's be quiet. Maybe you were told that you're too boisterous or too lippy or too, like that kind of thing.
Egotistical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's a fear. Maybe
Or,
it's,
yeah.
and you've
Or,
been taught to judge egotistical
yeah.
or people in their power or, there's so many facets to it that
Yeah.
there is no like one size fits
That's
all,
right.
just do step ABC to be confident or whatever.
Yeah. Or be confident and be humble. You can't have both. Mm, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one. So go ahead.
Well, I think we talked about too what I learned humble was grounded. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to teach anger management in the regular world. I'll say that. And we used to call it the anger iceberg. And so anger is only the tip of the iceberg. And so
Yeah.
just like the Titanic sunk because of what was underneath, there is a whole pile of stuff underneath. And
Yeah.
what I take from that now is um it's energetically what's underneath it too. So what's the push behind that?
Yeah.
Because like you said, anger is on the frequency scale. The first one that gives us action can give us that motivation to move. So it is a catalyst. It is a beautiful energy, really, if we're not taking it out on other people, which is where we tend to go.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And
Because
it's, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it goes back to that we being our own authority. It's easier to blame everybody else for our anger than to look at it
Yeah.
inward
Yeah.
and take it in. And not that you have to be angry with yourself and beat yourself up. I'm not saying that. But going, okay, what's under this? What is the rest of this iceberg?
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that is part of the shadow.
Absolutely. And becoming a victim. I feel that this is a big thing that's surfacing lately with a lot of people, and that's not a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
We automatically go into, yeah, but what about me? Yeah, but, right? But then there's something, what did you do not to speak up in the first place? And now this is unraveled. So it's not really that person you're mad at, it's the fact that you didn't say something sooner. And it's hard to get to that spot. It
It is.
really it is when it's something that is a pattern for a lot of relationships, a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's always easier to play the blame game. It's easier to go, well, no, it's your actions that have pissed me off.
Yeah,
No, it's 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 hard to be accountable again for our own feelings. And when I taught anger management and stuff, it's like I am angry because no one can make you angry.
yeah,
You are choosing to be angry. And that's not a judgment. But I mean, a lot of people that'll trigger the I'm not enough because that's where it goes.
yeah,
But you are choosing because something wasn't met within you or because something's being reflected or something's being shown to you. So again, learning to go, huh, I feel really angry right now. What's going on? And taking that second, it's easier to go, no, it's your fault. You said this, your fault.
Yeah.
And
And just
that's
and dissect the whole conversation, right? Every piece of it that brought you to that space. Yeah.
this just hit me. And I was like, that's why we like to tell our anger stories over and over. Because that's our soul calling us to go, really? Is that the real story? Is that the real,
Yeah.
or what's deeper than this? Like,
Yeah.
what is this about? Yeah, interesting.
Another aspect of that, not just the anger, but if you meet someone and they irritate you and you don't know why, um, it's what that's a judgment on yourself.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, wait a minute. What is it about this person? Is it because they're confident? Is it because then that's lack of confidence?
Yeah,
If it's, we're a reflection of our shadow, 100%. Like the mirror is there for us anytime we react or we have an emotion towards something or someone that's within us. It's nothing to do with what's out there. It's what is it that
no.
you are, irritated about this person? What is it? Maybe they're doing something that you would not do and you're judging what they're doing, right? Um, it's being an allowance. Allow them to be and do what is right for them. So what's within, right?
Well, and I think as soon as you can let go of that belief that someone makes you mad, because we shouldn't even use that because it should always be accountable.
Yep.
Like I am choosing to be mad at your behaviors,
Yeah.
rather than you make me so mad. Because as soon as we put it outside of ourselves, it's definitely a reflection, but it gives us the chance to go, well, I have nothing to do. It's all them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've done that too. And now the further along I go, when I get angry, it's like we talked about triggers a couple weeks ago, that when we're triggered, I always go, okay, what's this saying about me before I respond? Not always. I try.
Yeah.
I'm not
And sometimes
perfect.
it really isn't our shadow when we get that trigger or something. Sometimes it's like, okay, wait a minute. Why am I getting this trigger? How can I tell if it's my shadow or their shadow? There's a space there where it's like, um, you've had your boundaries, you've said your things, and it keeps coming up. Yes, you need to remove yourself possibly, but when is it that it is their reflection, or sorry, their reaction to what you have said, and it carries on the other way, right? So there is a fine line in knowing whether it's yours or theirs in some cases. But you still have to go inward to discover, is this yours or is this theirs?
Yeah.
And then act accordingly or move accordingly, I should say.
I think for me, if I'm understanding correctly, what you're saying is that doesn't mean that we have to stand there and be abused or be, take their anger on because we absolutely don't have to. And I feel like I can still react out of anger or act out of anger, but I'm not judging myself for it, or I'm not, because I'm like, no, boundary been crossed. Sorry, back off. Like,
Yeah,
and that's okay, but I don't feel the same energetically then.
exactly. Yeah.
And so it feels, energy is such an interesting thing. It's such a fine line. You can use the same words, and one's like, oh, no, that's my shadow. And one's like, standing your boundaries, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or standing in your truth. So it's such a fine line.
Yeah. So here's a good example that happened to me. When I started my market, I went to someone and I said that does their own markets. And I said, you know what? I respect you. I want to start my own. It'll never be in the same city as yours, never the same weekend as yours. I respect you. I just feel I need to reach more people to give, to have more people open up their businesses, helping more clients because people are seeking the help that they want, right? Or need. And this person came at me and I'm like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And maybe so I went into a space where I needed to go inward and say, hey, wait a minute, is this what I need to do? Or am I, overstepping my boundary? Or, I had to look at that. Um, but I went inward and I kind of, when I start going inward, I do judge myself. I know that I'm hard on myself and I'm like, okay, well, you know better. You got to get this, you need to do the work. But then I got to a space after 3 days, gave up my power for 3 days, and I go, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with me. Nothing, right? Um, I was honest. I want to help more people because this is what I do here. And it was her own space that she needed to look at herself with. But I feel like as we move and do more work within ourselves personally, I always go inward first
Mhm.
and I start to dissect what it's all about. Is this me or is this right? And it is an automatic thing that I have. I don't go into the victimhood. I go, I move inward as much as possible and almost never to a fault, but almost where that's where I automatically go. And instead of just being in the situation and then going, okay, don't beat yourself up or go inward or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's where we get to a space when we've done so much inner work that that's where we automatically go in, which is good, but for how long if
Hmm.
it's not ours, right? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's very true. And I mean, even that, if we're not able to get, this is my opinion, if we're not able to get to a space of peace fast, then there's something for us.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But I'm the same. And I like I said, I can't say always, but like 90 some percent of the time, I go inward first.
Yeah.
If I don't, it doesn't take me long to go, okay, backtrack. This is not about them, and really sit with it. But it also has gone to the point where it will feel really, really uncomfortable if I sit in that blame and, you know, projecting outward, giving up my authority, that kind of thing. Where I'm like, it's your fault. You made me mad. It's like, it doesn't feel good to me anymore. Like it just, and then I have to go in because I'm just like, it'll keep eating at me and it'll keep popping up in my head. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. And it's robbing me of my peace. And then I'm like, oh, okay, what's really going on here? But yeah, most of the time I'm the same way. I'm like, okay. And I always go inward first and like what's kind of going on, or try always to go inward first.
Yeah, yeah. And when we become more authoritarian in who we are, as we discover our shadows and all of the things, sometimes we get this, we go to well, I can only speak for myself. I go to a space where it's like, you know what? I need to speak up from a space of love. Um, and I can't help if people meet it from where they're at in their reaction, because often we will say something and then we feel bad about it because that's part of the shadow. But we go into a space of we've been taught to do the right thing and not speak up if, don't ruffle any feathers. But you get to a space where you do feel confident in being your authentic self. And I can't help if someone doesn't see it that way or they're threatened by it in some way or whatever the issue is, right? So there is a fine line there too, right? Once we step into our true self.
It's just like no one can make you mad, just like you can't make anyone mad either. And sometimes we forget that when it's the other way around. Like I know very well that no one can make me mad. I feel mad because whatever. But then, like you said, then there's the other side of that, which is the nice girl training that we all have, that we've oh no, I've made them mad. No, they are choosing to be mad because da 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 da. And so I think it's a language thing too. I think that we've been taught and conditioned to automatically blame others or to blame ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's not, like they're choosing to be mad at what I said. Okay, I triggered something in them. Do I have to follow up with this? Or was it not clear or that kind of thing? And if not, and you triggered them, oh well, like you said, they were meant to be triggered.
Yeah.
And that's for them to look at. And the trigger may be, what is it? The gun's been cocked for, it may take years for them to
Yeah.
figure
To
out
get
that the
to that
triggers.
laundry pile.
Yeah. It may take years for them to figure out that trigger is what it is.
Yeah.
And they may never figure it out. They may be mad at you for a long time.
Yeah.
But um I'm glad you talked about standing and speaking your truth too, because I think that's another one that's really misunderstood. Um, so many people are like, well, I do speak my truth. I say what I want and everything. But then if you really start again, those finer lines are you sugarcoating it? Are you really saying what you truly want? Or are you dancing around it, trying to say it in the nice way or choose the nice word? Because that's not speaking your truth then still too. It's still sugarcoating it. And it's still not being completely authentic because you're still not saying exactly what you want. So
Yeah.
I just thought I'd bring that one in. I don't know why.
Someone needs to hear it. And
Yeah.
it's truth. And that is truth. It truly is. It's like, and it's not coming from a space of, well, I've got to say this and that's that. That's not what that is about. That is something deeper. That is surface level, right?
Yeah.
That's the top of the laundry pile.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And and being that truth, like honest, truthful self, um, sometimes that those words throw that laundry pile in front of that person, and it's not because you want them to be force them to look at themselves. It's not what it's about. They have to discover it on their own, like you said, might take years, but it's like I'm just being truthful here, and here's your laundry.
Yeah, exactly.
In a
And
loving way.
but I think what I've noticed is that certain words will come to me, and those are the words that that person needs to hear.
Yeah.
And so it may trigger them, and it may be, but that's the words that they need to hear. And like even when like I do healings and stuff, there'll be certain words that will trigger people in a certain way. And that's again that laundry pile. That's how it's been programmed into them. So you saying it, sugarcoating it, or saying it in a different way isn't getting the message across.
Yeah.
Because all of our interactions are divinely designed. Um, and it's for the benefit of both, I feel. So whatever that interaction is, good, bad, or indifferent, if a certain word comes out or a certain way comes out or a certain emotion comes out, it's meant to be an opportunity for both,
Yeah.
for growth, healing, or whatever.
Yeah. Don't waste a good trigger on a learning experience. Is that how you say that? Don't waste a good trigger to allow it to be a learning experience.
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That one
And
is stuck in my head.
yes, it is such a good one, though. And again, I think that comes back to that's where we're at with even like when anger comes up or something like we just talked about, our go-to reaction is, okay, what's this about? Like, and I wish I could say all the time, but it's not, because sometimes I get triggered and I go back into an old pattern and I'm, that autopilot and I just react. But then it doesn't take me long till I'm like, ooh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I'm not happy with that. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like that. I don't like what this is bringing out of me now. And usually I can tell when it's that victim because our ego loves a victim story.
Yep.
When it can latch onto it and the more victim it can be, the better. And I can totally tell when I'm in that space because it's like, oh, and then this, and then you're like, okay, that's enough. Like,
Yeah. Or, but
that's,
you said it this way.
yeah, exactly. And then it's like, yeah, when it latches onto a good victim story, that I've started to just recently started like laughing at it when I can observe it going into victim stories. I'm like, whoa, you're going like full on victim. Like it's kind of funny if you actually listen to it.
Yeah. And when we're a victim, where are you not stepping into who you are? Where are you not stepping into your confidence? Where are you not stepping into your true path? However, it shows up, right? A
Yeah.
victim, and I have noticed, I pay attention to words often when I'm talking to people, and often it's like, oh, they just like, and they people don't even realize it. And I'm sure I have said stuff too. I'm not above any of this, trust me. But it's a space where um I notice a lot. I can't because, or the things like that. And it's like, oh, okay, well then start stepping into who stepping into your path. You don't have to have it figured out, It's like, I'll do it when, right?
Hmm.
Now I'm getting off path here.
But I think the words, and I think words are, we've talked about too, are highly misunderstood too. But I agree. And that's how, just like when we choose a word, they are also choosing a word because I know like in the sessions that I do, that this, it's their soul choosing that word on purpose.
Yeah,
So there's a reason that that's coming out that way.
very much.
And that's their truth when you're
Yeah,
just in a conversation.
yeah,
If and again, that's that, yeah, if you're just in a conversation. But if you're again trying to think of what to say, then you're not letting yourself flow the way you're meant to flow. That means that there's to me, that means that there's judgment in there, or there's that nice girl training that's like, I have to say it a certain way, so you're not allowing it to flow how it needs to flow,
yeah,
even if it's going to trigger somebody
yeah,
or yourself.
yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I don't want to get too much into narcissism and gaslighting, but that happens a lot with people who gaslight and narcissism. Um, the way they put their words and the way you respond is so important. Um, yeah, I'm getting off topic now, but that victimhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's a whole other can
I
of
know, like I'm
worms.
like, whoa, I can stop that one.
Yeah. And I think that we often gaslight ourselves too, which is
Oh, yeah,
part of that, again, that authority, that authenticity, that whole, we've been taught to like gaslight ourselves too.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's good for today. I don't know how long we've been on, but
I don't
it
know either.
doesn't tell
It
me.
was a good discussion about the
It was.
shadow.
Yeah, it was. I love it. I love it. And yeah, and if anyone needs any help with that, reach out to either one of us. We are both um
Or
yeah,
both.
yeah, 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 or both. We do healing together, which has been very powerful. I've had some more feedback about it, which is amazing. I love it. Um, yeah, and this is about us reaching people and, helping people on their journey and getting to their authentic self and all of the things that come with that, getting there. And when you reach that space too. Yeah. So if you want to talk to Tara, I will have all of her stuff in the description, all of her, how to reach out to her, to all of her socials and her website and all of that. Check out her healings. She is definitely, I would say, you say life coach, I would say more soul coach because you really dig deep into the soul aspects on this journey that we are here on Earth with. So, yeah, thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
And if there's
Love chatting.
yeah. And if there's any topics, please put it in the comments because we are always, we want to reach people in discussion of what they are going through in their life. So if we can, tap into any of that to help, that would be great. So thank you again. And I hope everyone has a great day. Much love.
And happy Remembrance Day tomorrow.
Yes.
Or
Yep.
I don't know if you say happy Remembrance Day, but
Yep. Yep.
remember tomorrow. So
Yes. Take some time for sure. Thank you. Have a good one.